Do-hyuk shouldn't have survived the fall. It was a drop that no one could have survived. Hundreds of feet straight down a jagged cliff face with sharp rocks waiting below. A symphony of snapping branches and crunching metal, the sound of nature and machine colliding violently. It was a miracle he even drew breath, a miracle that seemed impossible, a miracle that defied all logic, all reason. Every bone in his body should have been shattered, but here he was, broken and battered yet alive. Against all odds, he had survived.
The crash was a blur, a chaotic mess of noise and pain. It all happened so fast. I remember the screech of tires, the desperate attempt to regain control. The sickening lurch of the vehicle as it left the road, then nothing. Just a void. Now I cling to consciousness, the world a confusing mess of pain and fog. Every breath is a struggle. I need to hold on, for something whispers in the back of my mind. A promise of a destiny not yet fulfilled. A reason to keep fighting.
The goddess was furious, her eyes blazing with an intensity that could melt the hardest of stones. Her temple, a beacon of peace and serenity for millennia, lay in ruins, desecrated by mortals who dared to exploit its sacred grounds for their own selfish gains. Her rage, a tempestuous storm of divine energy, ripped through the fabric of reality. Earthquakes shattered the land, splitting it open with supernatural force. Volcanoes erupted with fiery vengeance, spewing molten lava that consumed everything in its path, and tsunamis crashed against the coasts, reshaping continents and swallowing entire cities.
The mortals will pay dearly for their transgressions. They have awakened a primal force, a power beyond their comprehension, a force that has lain dormant for centuries. Their greed and their ambition will be their undoing, leading them to a fate they cannot escape.
But in her fury, the goddess did not realize that her own actions were upsetting the delicate balance of the world. A balance that had been carefully maintained for eons. A balance carefully maintained for eons was now teetering on the brink, threatening to plunge the world into chaos and destruction. The goddess's wrath was not contained to the mortal realm. Her fury was so intense that it transcended the boundaries of the earthly plane. It sent shockwaves through the celestial planes, reverberating through the very fabric of the heavens. Angels, who once basked in the serene and divine light, were thrown into chaos and confusion. A faction led by the Archangel Gabriel believed the goddess's fury was justified, a necessary cleansing fire to restore balance. Others, however, saw it as a dangerous overreaction, a perilous threat to the very existence they were sworn to protect and uphold. The angels were torn, their solemn oaths clashing with their instincts for survival and protection.
The descent grew into open rebellion, spreading like wildfire among the celestial beings. In the celestial courts, heated debates turned into bitter accusations, each side fervently defending their stance. These arguments soon escalated into the clang of celestial weapons as words failed to resolve the conflict. It was a war unlike any other, a grand and epic battle that shook the very foundations of the heavens. A battle for the fate of not just the heavens, but for the mortal world as well, intertwining the destinies of both realms. The conflict spanned both realms, with the outcome set to determine the future of all existence.
But there is another way, whispered in the shadows by a few daring souls. A dangerous gamble proposed by a rogue faction to overwrite the world, to start anew, risking everything for a chance at a fresh beginning.
This could change everything. We must tread carefully, for the consequences of failure are unimaginable. The stakes have never been higher, and the path ahead is fraught with peril and uncertainty.
Tenacious grip on life, Do-hyuk clung to life, his body, broken and racked with pain, refused to yield.
Days turned into weeks, and with each agonizing breath, I fought my way back from the brink.
The whispers in his mind grew stronger, urging him on, reminding him of a purpose he couldn't yet grasp. He dreamt of a woman with eyes like storm clouds and hair like spun silver, her voice echoing with sorrow and rage. He dreamt of winged warriors clashing in a sky of fire and lightning. These visions, hazy and fragmented, hinted at a greater cosmic struggle, a battle raging beyond the veil of his perception. A whispering guide. As Do-hyuk's strength returned, so too did the whispers solidify into a voice.
It was a woman's voice, ethereal and melodic, yet laced with an underlying current of sadness. She spoke of ancient pacts, of broken promises and a world teetering on the edge of annihilation. She called herself Luna.
Luna was a spirit, bound to the mortal realm by a forgotten oath. She told Do-hyuk of his destiny, of a power that slumbered within him, a power capable of restoring balance to a world on the brink. He was no longer just a survivor, he was chosen, a beacon of hope in a world consumed by shadows. A changed world, a changed man. Upon his recovery, Do-hyuk stepped out into a world forever changed. The goddess's wrath had reshaped continents, leaving behind a landscape scarred by disaster. The air crackled with residual energy, a constant reminder of the divine fury that had been unleashed.
I was no longer the man I was before the fall. My body, tempered by the ordeal, possessed a strength I never knew I had.
The whispers of Luna, now a constant presence in his mind, guided his steps. He was a weapon, forged in the fires of catastrophe, destined to confront the chaos that engulfed the world. Unbreakable. The road ahead was fraught with danger. The angels' rebellion raged on, threatening to tear apart the very fabric of existence. The world was a tinderbox, ready to ignite at the slightest spark. And Do-hyuk, imbued with power he was only beginning to understand, stood at the heart of it all.
But I was not afraid. I had stared death in the face and emerged unbroken. I carried the weight of the world on my shoulders, the hopes of humanity and the whispers of a forgotten goddess guiding my way.
He was unbreakable, and he would face his destiny head-on. The fate of the world rested on his shoulders. He was ready,